Wonderful. A very good afternoon, and thank you everyone who's joined on time. We will get started, and today we have a lovely topic to be discussed in our open house. Beyond slides, what can we L&D folks do to design truly experiential learning sessions? That's going to be the focus of our discussion. I'm not sure how many of you were part of the polls during the month. I will share some results from the polls too during the session. What happens in the open sessions is we talk through the theme, we collect the wisdom from the community, convert it into a PDF, and present it back to the community. Before we get started, a couple of announcements, if I have to say. We are currently on the last couple of days of a huge discount on a systems thinking workshop. I'm going to paste the link in the chat um, so that you don't miss it. Um, we will continue to have discounts, but the Diwali discount is less than 25%. Just so you know, if you want to avail the maximum discount, this is the right time. The discounts go away on the 3rd. We've got some uh, lovely recordings. We had Raghav, who's done a session for HR and L&D folks, which is around creating surveys that are really, really impactful. I'm going to paste a link to the survey also, to the session also in the chat. Hi, Gaurav. Welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, Shanti. Thank
Very
you.
good afternoon. And we've got Ishita, who's going to be presenting the last in the series around human ingenuity, a workshop on personal branding. The previous 3 ones, the recordings are available on our platform, and if you wish to access them, you can. With that, let us jump right into our session. Um, and I am going to uh, pose a question and have you all think and respond. Um, I'm going to show a picture and you're going to tell me if you had to design a learning session and the object given to you, you have to use that in an activity. How would you use that? Which session? Yeah. So the first one is Lego, the Lego blocks. Which workshop and how would you use it? Go ahead, Urmila.
Actually, Shanti, I have used this in a classroom, but I don't know, excuse me, how it will be relevant in how everyone else will look at it. So, to give a brief context, my students were blaming the university, blaming the college, blaming the curriculum and everything else. And they were saying because of that, they were not able to do things well. So I had got this Lego and then I had spread all the pieces and I told each of them to come and pick only 10 pieces of their choice and then go and build something out of it. So each of them came and there was one notorious boy who was going on teasing others. So I said, as a punishment, you will be the last one left out to pick up whatever pieces were left out.
Okay.
And these were BBA students, by the way, final year students. So they came, they picked, and each of them did something. Some of them who got the best pieces, they did not creatively use it as much. Whereas this guy
Mhm.
who got it in the end, he just got the bits and pieces left and a broken toy which came along with the Lego, and he
Yeah.
was trying to fix it. I said it's okay, leave it anyway, you got the leftover pieces. But he then told, no, I will do it, wait, give me some time. And then he what he did is he just took the biggest piece, he arranged all the small pieces on that, and then he kept the toy there and then said, this is Prime Minister Modi giving a speech. So I was amazed because it was a learning back at me, saying
Hmm.
that whoever no, if a person is determined, they can do whatever is possible with whatever pieces they actually got. So
Hmm.
the outcome which I wanted to achieve in that particular session was that they could build anything with whatever pieces they picked up. So there is no point in blaming that others took the pieces and they did not get the best
Yeah,
ones.
yeah. Yeah, so something around uh, creativity. You can create with whatever is at hand. Brilliant. Thanks, Urmila. Anyone else? If you were given Lego pieces, what workshop will you use it in as an activity? Yes, Nupur.
Yeah, so similar, Shanti, I've already, I think, used Lego a few times. Um, so I could talk to that.
Yes,
Um,
please.
all right. So I've used Lego in multiple contexts over the years. But I think the last one was probably the most powerful and at the largest scale. So we had a stated issue of collaboration between 2 to 3 departments in the last company I worked for,
Mm-hmm.
and the the sales department, the key account management department, and one more department, and they were all client facing roles, but there was clearly something wrong between the way they collaborated, and there was quite a lot of bad blood. So that was the problem statement, to create collaboration. And we had designed very massive offsites where
Mm-hmm.
about 200 people were coming to every city, and we were doing these offsites. So one of the major activities we did here, uh, on the back of some other activities, was a personal vision exercise for how collaboration uh, can happen. But more than that, it was, what do you consider the future of this company if there were no restrictions, if there was no and no, not only restrictions, if there was no lack of resources, if there was no end to your what you thought is possible, how would you envision this company? And that's where every table, which consisted of these 4 teams, representative
Mm-hmm.
of these 4 teams, created a vision of tomorrow. And then the CEO and the leadership was going from table to table, listening to people, their ideas, and also, renewed enthusiasm about working together. So it was a great activity because really got the inspirational part, because till then everybody in the room was like, why are we here and what are we going
Mm-hmm.
to do? Very process driven thought process. Ki, okay, we're
Theming,
here to.
visioning, a couple of things you are adding to the list.
Correct. First
Yeah.
was vision of tomorrow, and the second question was, if that is it, then how will you design things in a way that all 4 of you, all 4 teams could work together? That was the context.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Ishita.
Of course, Nupur and Urmila did share. I was about to answer some of them, but not exactly Lego, but on similar lines in one of the virtual workshops. Of course, you mentioned about the recording of them, problem solving through human ingenuity. I use a similar concept, did not use a Lego per se, but then of stacking the various items, random items that are around you. That gave people, the participants, a lot of ways to reflect how they are solving a problem, how they're approaching a problem. So, yeah, that way.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So problem solving, you've added to that list. Thank you. Anyone else before I show the next image? All right, I'm going to show the next image, and you're going to tell me how are you going to use the object, the prop given to you as an activity in a workshop. Yes, please. Go ahead, Vaishnavi. Happy to see
Uh,
you.
Same here.
Happy
Thank you
to
so much.
hear you. Can't see you yet. Happy to hear you.
I know. Same here.
Hmm.
So lovely to see a lot of them whom I know, and yes, happy to connect with some of them whom I am going to interact with in the next few minutes for the first time. I would consider this prop for a workshop on team building, where you could, put them in different teams and ask them to come up with several. Probably one of them would be come up with different shapes, different. Uh, can you build something out of this? I'm not able to get that exact prompt, which would again be dependent on the organization, dependent on the exact outcome that we desire. But I would prefer using this for a team building exercise
Team
where they
building
use this
exercise.
together, probably in their respective teams, and build something. Uh, Also, we could use this one as well as the Lego blocks, as I'm thinking aloud, to ask
Yeah.
them to come up with their challenges. What challenges are you facing currently? And how do you think you could overcome those challenges? Because sometimes when we have to speak, uh, it becomes a little too much to think through individually. But when I'm doing it with
my colleagues, with my team members, when we brainstorm, when we have to
Yeah.
visually represent it, we are all in this together. So we all get the feeling that I am part of this and I do have people to support me in this and we can overcome this together. So this is one way I think I could use this particular prop in a learning session.
Thank you. What apart from teaming can we use a rope for? Okay, let me challenge you the other way around. If I were to ask you to use this rope in a leadership workshop, how would you do that?
I'm sorry, I missed that. Could you repeat?
Yeah, if you were to use this rope in an activity in a leadership workshop, what use will you find?
All right.
So
We
maybe I
can do some
can,
collaboration activities. Sorry, Gaurav, please go ahead.
yeah, no, first of all, I'm very new to experiential learning, so thank you for letting me part of this.
Most
What I
welcome.
could,
We all learn in this together. We all learn together, so don't worry at all.
yeah. So what I could think of is if there are teams and if the rope can be tied in multiple knots and then give it to each team, and then you can probably observe who is taking the initiative, who is uh, driving the solution to the problem at hand, right? If they have to untie these knots,
Mm.
right? So that could probably give an indication of who could be the leader or the leadership traits in the team.
Lovely. So you tie complex knots and ask them to
Yeah,
untie it and see who takes lead, who supports,
yeah,
who
yeah,
encourages, motivates, who sits back, and you can debrief that. Wonderful.
yeah.
That does definitely did not come from a novice. What else? Yes, Nupur.
I've not tried it before, Shanti, but I'm just thinking about it. Maybe just using the rope to create a circle, and then, especially if it's a team workshop, like a leadership team workshop, and possibly having them reflect on certain questions and decide whether they want to be inside the circle or outside the circle,
Yeah,
and use that as a reflection activity. Uh,
brilliant.
Circle,
Um,
it could be a circle of trust, but it could also just be a circle of raising topics and deciding where everyone stands on it, inside the circle or outside the circle.
Brilliant. Do you want to take a stab at creating a couple of questions where you will say, if this, then step in. If this, then step out. Just take a stab at a couple of questions.
Mm, I right now, honestly, not much is coming to my mind, but if I really had to, I know if I had a little bit more time, I'd be able to.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
pushing myself right now to do it, I think it would be um, currently I'd use it for the context of alignment. So, for
Mhm.
example, if I'm imagining a leadership offsite
Mhm.
where everybody's gone together, the core team, and they are to plan, say, the year ahead or things like that. So I'd probably use the current strategy that is being, you know, presented to the whole company. So before the strategy is being presented to the company, I'd probably use that to see areas of alignment,
Wonderful. Are you
both on
aligned on this point? Then step in.
yeah.
Wonderful. And
One could be the strategy, the other could be how we're achieving that strategy. So if it's a working session where they're planning, the year ahead or whatever
mm,
the plans ahead are, so I would use this to see that before you start the go ahead and go to the rest of the company and popularize this strategy, first let's get complete alignment between us. So for every
wonderful.
small block, I would ask them on this thing, or at least they could be aligned on the strategy, probably they're not aligned on the process or how they're going to go about it. So I'd use a few prompts to say, okay, when it comes to this and this is how we're deciding to achieve it, maybe at the second day of the workshop, whatever, to see if we are all moving ahead together, or do we
Yeah,
have people who are quiet and have not committed. Probably use that as a mechanism to see why people are still outliers or why people are not aligned, and use that as an activity to ensure that we all move together rather than ignoring the one person who's probably still not convinced or something like that.
wonderful. Very nice. Very nice. Any other thoughts on using a rope in a leadership workshop before we move to the third image?
You can have participants to make a shape out of a big piece of rope, and um, so I'm making this activity up because I participated in a similar activity where, so it was my daughter's annual function where the parents were also involved in some of the activities. One of the partner or one of the parent of the child will keep talking to the other parent, but while one of it us is blindfolded, and with the instructions left row, go left, go right, go front, 3 steps, 2 steps, with all those, I mean, you have to finish some task. So using the same thing, we can ask participants to um, create a shape using this rope, and one person who is creating the shape is blindfolded, but then they have to completely rely on the other person if the shape is still visible or understandable or not. So communication in leadership training can be used through a rope.
Communication, trust, collaboration, so many things can be done with this activity. Brilliant. And the idea is to cook up activities to see how creative can we get with what we see on the screen. All right, moving ahead. Last one. Yes, Surmila.
So I have seen this used in one of the sessions which I have attended. So they were trying to communicate a process flow. To be exact, we were actually attending a session where they were trying to teach us what is the exact transaction flow from when a customer swipes a debit or a credit card, and then when the POS machine gets the confirmation that the payment is done. So, who are the parties involved from the time he swipes the card till the time he gets the confirmation? So, they made individuals stand with specific names, and then they asked us to pass the ball in to depict the exact process flow. And then as a extension of this particular activity, they said if in case you're getting a complaint that this particular thing is not happening, then which party in this process flow do you actually contact, so that we had to throw the ball to that particular party over there. So this was we understood the process flow better, and I am still able to retain it after 8 years.
Wow, 8 years, and you still remember. Wonderful. Please remember this point. We will talk about the retention when we convey a message through activities a little later. Brilliant. Thanks, Urmila. Who else? Rimpa, Vidya. We've not heard from you. Hina, what ideas do you have?
Um, yeah, I was thinking, can you hear me?
Yes, Hina.
Okay, so we are doing a lot of things on values in the past 6 months to create more awareness about our values. So I was thinking just we could, these walls are easy to write on. So maybe a person could just write the value which relates to them the most, and then maybe pass it on, or share a story or something.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Reinforcement of values and how they are demonstrated on the day-to-day work.
Yeah.
Lovely use of the balls. Wonderful. Anyone else?
I can probably pitch in Shanti again.
Yes,
Uh,
please.
so, what comes to my mind is appreciation is very undervalued in most of the organizations, and we try to build that culture, right? So we could design an activity where people come and talk about certain things, and then if I liked what they talked, I could probably give a smiley ball to them, right? At the end of the day, we have to see how many. It's not about who received most of the balls, but who also passed it on further, right?
Yeah. Is your giveaway appreciation jar empty and is your received
Yeah,
appreciation jar full? Oh,
yeah.
wow. That's a lovely thought. Lovely thought. You're talking about building cultures, not just an activity in a workshop, but rather building
Yeah, it's more
cultures.
about building
Yeah,
an appreciation culture of appreciation. Yeah.
lovely. Yeah. So the first three images that you all saw are things that I knew people would have used in some activity would have experienced while participating. The next image I'm going to show, in my view, I have never used it. Very possible some of you may have used it, but now I want you to design an activity with safety pins. What would that look like? Yes, Nopur.
Again, no points for being sensible, right? Just
Yeah,
whatever comes to
absolutely. It
mind.
can be the craziest
Okay,
idea.
so
So
the
don't
first
worry
thing, I
about
think
it
it's
being, yeah.
too, yeah, I think it was too obvious an answer. But when you are working at team building games, then maybe
Mm-hmm.
if you have time to see which team can build the longest chain, could
Chain, yeah.
possibly be, could possibly be it.
Wonderful.
Or it could, the second thing that came to my mind is that if it is a workshop on creativity, then
Mm-hmm.
possibly giving them some materials and then asking them to create something. It could be an outfit or anything, but only with safety
Yeah.
pins. If when you're not given, say, a needle and a thread or something to stick, how can you put together something only held together by safety pins?
By safety pins. Yeah, creativity definitely holds there. Wonderful. What other ideas? Yes, Rimpa.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So this is basically a safety pin, right? And in
Yes.
India, it holds much more great like position in every household. So in
Yes.
every person's in every person always they have a safety pin at least, especially girls. So if
Yes.
I would have planned the activity, that would be like in the entire team, who is your safety pin?
Mm-hmm.
Like who will be a safety pin? Like whoever is the safest you feel or you can reach out to for any
Oh,
time, you can give that safety pin to that person.
brilliant.
So
Who
yeah.
do you feel safe with? This can be so beautifully tied with in a workshop around psychological safety because we can go ahead
Yes.
and ask, how do you feel safe with this person? Why do you feel safe with this person?
Yes.
What does this person do or not do? Oh, very
Yeah.
nice, Rimpa.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Anyone else? Yes, Vaishnavi.
Probably we could have, if it is a specific leadership team and you have pictures that represent people, policies, processes, and so on. What would you
Mm-hmm.
want to hold on to? Which is most important to you? So you can ask them to come pick one and probably pin it to themselves, saying, "This is something that I'm not willing to let go of at any point in time." And
Ah,
then we let
what
them
is
talk
most
about it,
important to you? Hmm.
because that's we
Yeah.
generally use safety pins to tie something to us so that we do not want to let go of those items, and that has to be with us all the time. This is something that I'm
Yeah.
not willing to take chances with, or this is something that I always want to be with, and I'm not ready to compromise on.
Brilliant.
So
Brilliant.
we let them talk about it. Once they all pick a particular image or object that represents it, which they pin it to themselves, to their clothes, or we could think of different ways, and then we can discuss more about it.
Yeah. Why was this most important?
Yeah, probably if there's going
Brilliant.
to be some, say, change management initiative, and
Hmm.
then we could introduce this activity and then say, why is one thing more important than the other, or is it always a combination of everything? All of that can be discussed.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Anyone else? Yes, Asapri. You have to
Yeah. Am I audible now?
yes, you are.
So I'd say this could also be, since it's a safety pin and it's very malleable,
Mm-hmm.
it we used to hold, I mean, when we are pinning up our clothes, or we could also reverse it to if we need to prick something to say open a bottle or to unlock anything that is clogged. So this could
Mm-hmm.
also be used to uh, to be symbolic of being adaptable.
So what you're saying is, what other uses of a safety pin can you find? So basically, simple thing that we use for a very common thing. What other uses can you think of? Yeah, in my house, we put nada using safety pins. I don't know how many of you do that, but yeah, it is a very creative use. And can we find more like that? Brilliant. Thank
So
you.
one has to be adaptable depending upon the situation,
Mm,
being flexible.
nice. Nice. Wonderful. Thank you. I hope you all enjoyed and you've all warmed up to the fact that to cover a concept, we don't only need slides. There can be lots of other ways in which we can explain a concept. So, my first question to you is, why is experiential learning so important in today's day and time?
I can go first. Yeah,
Yes.
Akansha
Hi,
raised her hand.
Akansha. Welcome, Akansha. Go ahead.
Hi, ma'am. I think in today's day and time, experiential learning has become important. I think there would be a couple of things that I can think of at the moment. Firstly, because of when you're doing something with your hands, it gives a better retention.
Mhm.
Secondly, the attention span of people has gone down, a lot with the culture of
Mhm.
and everything that have come into picture. Our attention span has gone down drastically.
Yeah.
So when you are completely engaged with your senses as well, with your eyes, with your hands and everything together, that's what makes learning more interesting rather than a classroom learning that was more prevalent in the previous time that we used to go through. So in schools also, I think they are using clays and things like this nowadays
Yeah.
to engage the child completely with all the senses involved. So
All the senses are involved when you're doing an activity, and hence retention is fast more. I was reading the other day, today's teenagers retention is lesser than that of a goldfish, even lesser. We were close to a goldfish, now we are lesser.
Oh
Scary,
God.
but yeah. Yes, Vaishnavi.
Yeah, adding on to what Akansha just mentioned, there's this famous quote by, I think, Benjamin Franklin, where he says, "Teach me and I forget. Uh,
Mm,
what else? Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I learn."
and
So
I
that's
learn.
when we learn something, and only when we learn, we can use what we have learned and see changes visibly. So it's important that
Brilliant.
we involve everyone, even though we say sessions are interactive, only a few tend to participate. But when there are workshops like these where everyone is supposed to participate, there is no choice, then
Yeah.
they are getting involved either willingly or not. And that is when they start reflecting upon, and that's when what they learn stays with them for a longer period of time, and that's when they're able to put to use all that they've learned.
Very true. Very true. Thank you. Urmila.
Yeah. So in one of the previous organizations where I worked, they followed this concept called known to unknown. So if we are
Mm,
using something which people can relate to, like a Lego block or a safety pin or a rope, we are
mm.
creating a known link to some concept which they may not know, and in future it is easier for them to think of this rope and then think of that particular thing. So it is like we are creating a link for them to easily remember and recollect what they have applied in that particular session and then apply it in their real life situations.
Yeah, very true, Urmila. Very true. Very true. I loved the phrase known to unknown. When you connect with something, you are able to build onto it much better. Brilliant.
Another
Anything else?
another
Yeah,
way to think would be um, something which we don't know. I mean, once we get the touch and feel of it, once we are practicing doing the same thing, it makes it more relatable to at least try using it in the real life.
very true. And workshops, whether virtual or in person, create that safe environment. It's like a swimming pool where the lifeguard is there, there are rubber tubes, so there is no chance that you will drown. And hence, it is easy for people to take that risk and see what happens. Uh, and in real life, they may not get that opportunity. Pushing them into the swimming pool might not be as efficient. So it's better to um, have them practice what they're learning in the workshop itself. Brilliant. Anyone else? Yes, Nupur.
I think, Shanti, to uncover what is hidden surface. So I
Uh-huh.
think when question, people usually answer from a cognitive space and on from a space of what is most emergent for them.
Yeah.
But maybe when you give them an activity, it forces them to not only reflect, but also a lot of what is hidden below the surface comes out. And if you debrief it properly, uh, and we catch those things, maybe we can uncover what's hidden and not being said.
Not being said, shared, not being acknowledged. Brilliant. Wow. Loving this. Anything else that comes to your mind?
I think it also creates a sense of curiosity amongst the audience that, okay, we're going to do something different today. So they feel that, okay, I
Yeah.
participate, that, okay, there's this activity going on. Let's see what it is all about. Something different to, come across. So I think that's also one reason why this is beneficial.
Absolutely.
And with all
Absolutely.
these, it also gives a lot of buy-in from the leaderships. I think this is
Hmm.
one place where L&D folks also do their best.
The
Um,
request for engaging,
hmm.
interactive, immersive workshops. Yeah. Yeah. What about the fun people have during activities?
That quotient is very high, depending, of course, depending on the activity. I
Mm.
remember my previous organization, we had taken these scraps like, drums,
Mm.
then we had taken these things, and some metal, some glass bottles, and we gave it to each set of group. And then we asked them that, okay, so you have this, and now you're supposed to create music out of this. It can
Wow.
be original music of your choice, or any music or jingle. And if you want, you can beatbox also. You cannot use any gadget
Huh.
to create the sound. You have to use whatever we've provided you, and of course, you can sing along and things like that.
Hmm.
So the involvement was very high, and then the music also that was created by them was fabulous. Some of them had come up with originals also, which was very
Wonderful.
great. So that was a very
Yeah.
fun, and not only for the audience, but also for us, when we were listening to whatever they had created. It was fun for us as well.
It is
Both.
fun for us also as facilitators. Truly agree. Truly agree. Um, I believe humans want to remember the moments they had fun during. They want to not remember moments that were not fun. Uh, Eventually, they would have forgotten those sessions, workshops, lectures that they did not have fun at, but they would remember all the workshops and sessions where they really had fun in. So, if you can introduce that fun, probably retention is far deeper than without it. So now we know we can be creative with almost anything, can be used in any workshop. We know immersive, interactive learning has so many benefits. My question is, what's the challenge then?
So one of the challenges is, like just now we spoke about fun. Sometimes just all fun and no messaging. Like
Yeah,
there's no takeaway basically, and they just
yeah,
remember the fun and not the message.
not the takeaway, or the facilitator misses to tie the takeaway together. If the
Yeah.
debrief isn't impactful, chances are the learners just had fun and they walked back without knowing, oh, I had fun. So the smiley sheets will look brilliant, but in terms of what did they learn, probably nothing. Thanks for that, Tina. Yes, Vaishnavi.
Yeah, the other challenge is time, according to me.
Yeah,
Organizations want us to cover hundreds of topics within, say, 2 hours, 3 hours. They want us
yeah,
to ensure that the participants leave the room knowing and practicing all of these once they reach their workstations. But then it has to
mm,
be also experiential. Now, that becomes a challenge, having to touch upon all of those topics in an experiential way, especially if there are
yeah,
many participants. That is not going to be easy.
absolutely. So the request for sun, moon, and earth, and the earthworm inside the earth. All of it is required.
True.
Yeah. What else? Yes, Akansha.
Ma'am, also authenticity becomes a challenge. That yes, they are
Mhm.
having fun, but sometimes they are still not very authentic about the challenges that they are facing in their work life, which the probably the session is trying to address. So I think that
Mm,
is And second thing, I think
Yeah.
even though the participation is high in experiential sessions, but still not everybody is willing to, participate
Yeah,
in.
so both your points, how are participants showing up authentically and are they taking back what the facilitator intended? Both of them, in my view, are the skill of the facilitator. Would you agree, or do we have a different opinion? Is there something else also that can impact the learning?
Yes, it depends on the skill of the facilitator, but even
Mhm.
then, when you try and make the session as interesting as possible, there are
Mhm.
still some people who are not willing to open up.
Yeah, not willing to open up. I've had senior leaders who, in an art-based workshop, who said, let my team do. I don't want to dirty my hands. Yeah, and it's the senior most person in the room saying that really dampens the energy in the entire room. So relate to that. Yeah, when they are willingly not participative, it does dampen the whole impact. Thank you, Akansha. Yes, Nupur.
I think just building on what's already been said, um, one, there is the skill of the work facilitator to create a strong debrief, right? But sometimes the contexts are such. For example, many times I've been in these large scale offsites where you do a lot of team building. So
Mm.
if you're very clear that this is for fun, it's fine. But what I've seen, and I've probably made this mistake myself, is there'll be a series of activities designed for, like, say, half a day or maybe even 2 3 hours, and you'll make people play game after game, and
Yeah,
you do a debrief. It's not like the debrief is not done, but with the
yeah,
kind of high octane energy that's happening, and then when people get so much into the fun mode, they just don't pay attention to the debrief. It goes like, okay, we are going to play this game,
yeah,
and yeah, they're going to say something for 3 minutes about why this activity was important, but they've
yeah,
checked out at that point. And you might be saying this was an activity on collaboration, and the next one was on creativity, and the third one was because of this. But they are in that zone of, okay, what's the next game? We are here out on an offsite, let's just
yeah,
play. So you may still be doing a good debrief, and you may involve, say, 3 people out of the 200 people there, but you generally see an energy which is much larger than what you can harness or contain, because people are just in a what's next kind of a mode. So sometimes I feel scared to use this unless there's a very clear directive that let people have fun.
let
That's
people have
okay.
fun.
Yeah, but when the
Yeah, so
people
your
saying no,
question
but
is how
this
much
will
fun
give.
is enough? Yeah,
How much fun is enough, especially in very large groups? I feel that you can manage a certain small groups, but beyond a
yeah.
point, I think the fun overtakes the whole message or the meaning.
Yeah, and you touched upon one more point, large groups. Designing activities for smaller groups, you have chance to hear everybody back, but in large groups, 150, 200 kind of audience, the activities, you can't use such props. No, or you can't, even if you use props, you can't hear back or debrief for everyone. So large groups is also a challenge. Wonderful. What else?
I think,
Not
sorry,
sorry.
please go ahead. Please go ahead.
I think not every topic can be covered in an interactive or experiential way. There are
Mhm.
certain topics where you need a little more theoretical, facilitation in comparison to always
Mm.
bringing in activity and everything. So that is also a challenge I feel that, sometimes
Yeah.
we face. They're trying to make it interactive, but not, you might not have something which is great, and then just have, as Nupur had said, trying to make it fun and then losing the messaging.
Losing the messaging. Yeah. Nupur, you had one more point?
Uh, I think I've blanked out on my own point.
No worries. 30 more seconds to see if anybody can think of any other challenges.
Yeah, my point did come to me. It was that many times it is my own fear of not wanting to be seen as not serious in certain very serious contexts. Like, I can run activities with certain groups, but with the leadership team and things like that, I'm not very confident that oh, what if they don't take this seriously, or what if they think this is too
Yeah.
juvenile? I think my own identity based issues come into the play. And sometimes, like you said, leaders also give you that feeling that what is this? Uh, Later they might jump in, or some of them may
Yeah.
jump in or may not, but I'm too scared to take that chance. So I've had this um, experience that with one or two organizations where I worked, I knew that I could do it. The whole context was such, people had been exposed to such context, so they were fine.
Hmm.
There were one or
Hmm.
two where I knew that if I even suggest it, people will be like, "What rubbish is this?"
What rubbish is this? Yeah.
We don't do stuff like this. So, for example, bringing in drama or music, I would be thrown out of the room very clearly in some
Yeah.
context. Whereas in earlier context, I could actually make people do drama, thinking, learning. So I think
Yeah.
some of it is limited by my perception, some of it by my understanding of the audience.
Yeah. Culture and context. Thank you. I thought I heard one more voice, or somebody was trying to unmute.
I think it was.
Are you saying something, Vaishnavi?
Oh, so sorry. I am on mute. Oh, so sorry. I didn't realize that. I
Ah.
was just telling it depends on the facilitator, the style
Hmm.
that they prefer. Uh,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
cannot expect everyone to use a similar methodology, similar style of facilitation. They might have a different way of facilitating a particular learning session, which might actually be more impactful than what we think an experiential workshop of a particular kind can do. They might have a lot of experience, the way they get uh, the participants to interact, the way they help participants reflect and come up with their own ideas or with their own challenges, solutions, that might be
Yeah.
more impactful. So it depends on the style or the preference of the facilitator, and it cannot be imposed on everyone.
On everyone, not neither on the participants, neither on the facilitator.
Facilitator,
Yeah.
yes.
Brilliant. Anything else before we move ahead? All right. So what you can see in the chat is the various buckets that we've spoken about under facilitator skill, questioning how much fun is too much, missing the debrief, not having a good balance between theory and interaction, uh, missing the debrief or no debrief at all, unable to involve participants, senior audience will not take it seriously, or my own fear or comfort with activity. Those were related to the facilitator skill, lack of participation, lack of time, doing large groups, culture and context were some others. If I were to ask you, how do you think you can work around these challenges? What would you say? You can speak up for any challenge while we are compiling this information into a PDF. We will sort it out. So don't think that you have to go in a sequence or order. You share whatever thought comes to you, and then we will bucket it under the right challenge as a solution. So don't worry.
I think with regard to my fear or comfort level with some activities, I can try co-facilitation.
Try
I can,
co-facilitation or facilitate with a known audience where they will give you real honest feedback and it will not be judgmental, or it doesn't have any consequences.
hmm,
uh,
yeah,
Test
probably
it out
try
how it
within my
works. Yeah.
organization or
Yeah.
try something with my internal team and then see if that works out or not. Yes.
Brilliant.
I think regarding the too much fun aspect that is there, I think after you've created the content, getting an acknowledgement from somebody who has some more knowledge on this, that does it look very juvenile, is it not focusing on the messaging, so
Yeah.
having feedback from your community, for example our learning community that is there, having a feedback from them that what do you think about it.
Lovely. Lovely. And that's a brilliant point, Akanksha, that we should use safe groups like the GWS Learning Guild, and I'm sure we are part of so many other such safe groups where we can put it out and say, this is what I'm testing waters with. Please tell me, is it sitting well with you? What do you think about it? I want feedback. Brilliant. And I think feedback is something all leaders should constantly take and act on so that they can be better at doing whatever they are doing. So thank you.
Um, s- uh, for the challenges like having too much fun where somebody can, there is a risk of missing the debrief, which is actually learning.
Yeah.
If the activity is made around some questions with some easy framework, like um, what, so what, now what? I mean, just three questions that people have to reflect on, and it is a part of the activity also. So you finish one thing and you write it down or journal. What exactly did you do? And so now what? What is the next step? And then something like that. If that can be added within the activity, then the debrief worry is kind of taken
Minimized.
care of.
Yeah, minimize. Totally agree. What can we do for lack of time?
Come up with an activity that helps participants reinforce not just one, but probably two or three related concepts. And then we can say this
Multiple
also relates
concepts.
to
Yeah.
these.
Yeah.
Or maybe do it
Maybe
in
one
the end so
activity and
that,
keep the lessons learned to talk about multiple concepts being covered.
right.
Yeah. Brilliant.
During the human inventory sessions, um, in for one of the sessions, I actually had a very less time, which I felt to cover the topics that I wanted to cover. For that, the first thing that I started the session with was an activity, and then going back to the activity again. This is what you
Yeah.
experienced. I go back to it, and this is how you build on it. And then again, going back to the activity for the third point. So, building on one activity, but then you keep going back also helps there.
Brilliant. Urmila, Savri, Gaurav, Hina, Rimpa.
Um, what I try to do is, like nowadays it's all about micro learning, like to not
Yeah.
come up too much. So, instead of a full day workshop or a 2 day workshop, I would go for 2 hours and just do two concepts. That's it. Not the no,
Yeah.
not much. Like less is more.
Less is more. Break it down, just one concept. Say this is what can be covered in 2 hours, but it'll be thorough. People will be able to apply what they are learning and we'll stick to that. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Sometimes the session pre-work and post-work also helps. It
Yeah.
it gives people opportunity to be familiar with some topic where you can use that time to do some activity which they've already learnt about.
Yeah, any theoretical concepts, it's a framework or something, give it to them as a pre or post work so that that knowledge dissemination is taken care of and you can use the application, uh, the need for application as an activity in the workshop itself. Brilliant. Large groups, what can be done about large groups? Yes, Akansha.
I think here having co-facilitators can be very helpful. If we have
Absolutely.
that can be very helpful here.
Very true. Co-facilitators who can be present across multiple tables and, ask one person to look at the top right set of tables and one person to look at the top left set of tables and uh, ensure that everybody's concerns, questions are addressed. Brilliant.
Similarly, can we also not break the large group into smaller groups so they can have one output of the activity?
Yeah.
Um,
And then
along with that,
share it back as one statement with the rest of the group rather than a long debrief.
that's right.
Yeah.
Along with that, usually we have seen all these in webinars, use of
Yeah.
polls.
Brilliant. It can, so activities need not be only with prompts, it can be through polls or hand raise or gestures or movement in the room, those who agree on the right, those who disagree on the left, kind of movement also, because people are alert when they are the human tendency to belong to a particular group nudges them to move to a side and think of the question and then move. Lovely. So large groups use all of these tools and techniques. So with that, let's also talk about tools and techniques. What all have you used in your organizations as tools to engage with participants, create activities around? We will talk beyond role plays, simulations, and storytelling. I think those are all beaten to death already. We've all done that, role plays, discussion, simulation, storytelling. Beyond that, let us talk about what else can we do to make sessions engaging. Yes, Akansha.
So that the drums one, that the music one was one thing that I had mentioned. So that was one thing
Mhm.
that done. And there was another thing that we did was which was
What
very
was the
interesting.
intent? What is the key takeaway in that exercise around creating music with Scrap? What did you want them to learn at the end?
It was about the session was on collaboration.
Ah,
So, you know,
okay.
when you collaborate together, even out of things like this, you can create music. So
So
that was,
basically, what you're saying is get them to experience it, see what works for them, what doesn't work for them.
yes. Yes.
Wonderful.
So another thing that we had done, that was the first time we had tried something like this also, where we had done a science experiment.
Mm,
So we had, taking baking soda, Coca-Cola, Eno, and things like that. Then how, and this was on conflict management.
mm,
So, using this experiment where they were the ones doing the experiment.
mm,
So by giving them these props, we asked them that, okay, if you mix it, what happens? And then we
mm.
ultimately were giving a debrief on conflict management, on how, when you add certain things, even something as small as this can just blow up
Yeah,
into. So that was one thing that we had done, which was different from the, of course, the role playing and everything that
yeah,
we.
yeah. Yeah, so what you're talking about is symbolism. Each of the chemicals or whatever you used in the experiment were symbolized something, and you're putting all of that together to see what emerges. So
Yes.
people are able to say, okay, if in a conflict I add this into the conflict, this might be the outcome. And if I remove this from the conflict, this might be the outcome. Wonderful. What else?
Can you repeat your question, Shanti ma'am? I missed it. I forgot it.
Yeah, so what can you do to engage with audience creatively? And let's not
Okay.
talk about the regular ones, role
Yeah, yeah.
plays, discussions, apart from those. Yes, Asabri.
Ma'am, so in one of my sessions, the simple objective of the activity was to ask the audience to dance.
Mm,
And while some of them they did it willingly, there were a lot of them who held back.
mm,
And then they got comfortable. The objective behind that was to understand that we take stress when we try to achieve perfection. The moment we hear the word dance, we want to be perfect. But the idea here is to break it down. What is dancing? Dancing is just movement of the body.
mm.
So the moment we try to attain perfection and we put a certain activity on a pedestal, we first cripple ourselves with fear, and that is why we are not able to move forward.
Yeah. So you're combining experience and reflection, what
Yes,
they felt, how they felt, so on and so
yes.
forth. Yeah. Wonderful. Thanks, Asabri. Yes, Hina.
Yes, so we were covering the art of feedback, like art of giving and receiving feedback, and it included nonviolent communication and things like that. So this
Lovely.
was very, like, the topic is very dry. So what we tried to do is we created a simulation of a courtroom. Okay,
Mm,
and we had, like, first we had people fill the feedback cards in that format, and give feedback to each other. So first we made it very light, like you don't have to give serious feedback, you can just make it light. But
mm.
then we had that person, stand, um, like a makeshift, like the chair can be the, place. And then there
Yeah.
is a defense lawyer and a prosecuting lawyer, you know.
Oh, wow.
So
Mm,
we role played the whole thing and we said that, okay, now, was this feedback given as per the rules of the feedback format. How
Yeah.
could it be better? Things like that. So there was a lot of laughter, but the message was how do you give better feedback?
How do you give better feedback? And you convert it into a game.
Yes.
How can I be the judge of something that went well, that didn't go well? So brilliant. Wonderful, Hina. Yes, Surmila.
So I am able to recollect two activities, one on conflict management and one more on the feedback. So conflict management, usually what we do is we give that self-assessment questions. It
Mm.
has two statements. There are overall 29 statements broken into two parts, A or B. And the participants have to keep assessing themselves whether they fall under A or fall under B.
Yeah.
And once that is done, then I tell them to bifurcate all those things into 5 different columns. It's kind of an activity, and I
Mm.
don't reveal to them till the end what each column means. And
Mm.
uh, once they assess it and they have the total, so their interest is hooked. At that time,
Mm.
I draw the quadrants where I talk to them about the conflict management styles: collaborative, competitive, and avoiding. So,
Mm.
and so it's basically those 5 animals, right? Fox, owl, teddy bear, turtle, and shark. So
Yeah.
I explained that to them, and then I asked them to reflect which personality do you think it is mostly done, and then I reveal it to
Ah.
them, and it ends in a fun note usually because majority of the boys will be teddy bears. They'll be the
Yeah.
accommodating type. And then we ended with a note saying that it is not that everyone has a predominant style. If the same questionnaire is done the next week, the results will be different. But what we have to understand is judging each situation, we need to understand which style we have to actually apply.
Wonderful. So you're using metaphors and associations to strengthen the understanding.
Yeah, by
Wonderful
using that statements, which
statements.
where there's a self reflection as well. So this is one, and one more thing is related to feedback. So
Hmm.
we were all given a paper plate, and we were
Hmm.
asked to go among the crowd and requesting people to write behind the paper plate, like behind our back. They need to keep the paper
Yeah.
plate behind our back and write whatever feedback they wanted to give without
Huh?
putting their name. So
Huh.
by the end of that particular activity, we had a plate full of feedback which people actually wanted to express.
Huh. What did we do with that?
So it was again a kind of a reflective activity where we understood how people actually perceive us.
So people gave to everybody in the room without their
Yes,
names
yes.
signed.
Each of us had a
Ah.
paper plate, and then we just went around. And then it was not like everyone needs to give feedback to everyone. It was like the individual's choice, whom they actually wanted to get feedback from. We could go and
Yeah.
request them to give us feedback. Could be both positive and
Hmm.
negative, but predominantly it was positive.
Yeah. So what you did probably in the second activity is taking care of the fears and concerns, making it a safe environment for them to voice their feedback in an anonymous way to
Yeah,
at least get them started. Yeah. Though
yeah.
I'm not a very big fan of anonymous feedback, basically, we are not in the end creating a safe environment, but at least we are getting them started. So, thank you.
I can go next. Drawing
Yes.
some inspiration from a YouTube short, which is very famous these days, like a trend, where people who agree goes to the step to the left and people
Yeah. Yeah.
disagree step to the right, and all of them are standing in a line and they come back
Hmm.
again after the answer. So we can probably do something like that.
Yeah, again, associations. Am I a tea group? Am I
Hmm.
coffee group? Am I work from office group? Am I work from home group? Yeah, wonderful. In fact, Vaishnavi and I had tried this in a workshop just a couple of months ago, and they really loved it. I'm wondering, nobody's mentioning technology. Anybody here used technology to make learning immersive?
Our fun
Yes, Urmila.
activities have lot of it, lot of
Technology, yeah.
technologies. Yeah.
Yes, Urmila.
Yeah, so technology is more Mostly I have used, I keep trying out different tools. I started out with Kahoot,
Mm.
and but now I'm a fan of quizzes, because
Yeah.
quizzes, actually we can use it in multiple ways, and it has multiple modes, and it is all free up to 100 participants. So
Yes.
one thing is, I usually use it as a reflection. Just by giving 10 random questions, we will see who comes first and who comes not. And there is a way to make it completely anonymous also, so that the participants can actually warm up without the fear of, they are getting the most answers wrong. By
Yeah.
choosing good names, like it gives you all odd names, but it is good that they have that safe space. And maybe post the session, if there is a lot of things that they need to reflect on, lot of things they have to remember, there is
You there,
another mode
Urmila?
of quizzing, huh? Yeah.
I thought I lost you, but you're back. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So there is another mode called, the mastery peak mode, where
Mm.
you don't have to do anything. It's a complete gamified version of quizzes itself. You just, for the set of questions, you just start the mastery mode, and they can actually see them climbing a mountain, as in when they are answering a question right. And in between
Yeah.
there are puzzles, and then small games which they can solve to get some answers right, or which they can actually, so that activity doesn't move forward until and unless they answer it right.
Answer it correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen this with the Socrative.
Hmm.
I've also used Mentimeter, Kahoot, Idea Boards, Padlet, Miro.
Nearpod.
What's it?
Nearpod, there's one more thing called Nearpod.
Neopod. Wonderful. What else have people used?
There's one more thing called TEDed. uh
TED.
TEDed, yeah.
Uh,
So if you have a YouTube video, or a
mm,
video link on which you want people to reflect, or
mm,
certain portions of that video on which you want people to reflect, so
mm.
you can create use TEDed, which is again free. Link this particular video, and then ask 2 3 questions, and then if they are not able to answer, ask them to refer to the particular timestamp. So it is like, a if you want to create a video based education and then create a discussion, you can use TEDed.
Wonderful. Thank you. Anyone else used any such technology tool that might be helpful to others? Please share. I have no technology tool, just one more tool I would really love to add to make sessions really immersive. Being a coach, I can't help but calling out coaching, whether it is group coaching, whether it is one-on-one coaching, whether it is peer coaching. I think these are all ways in which people um, are able to share and reflect in a safe environment, and really helps embed all the learning and even practice beyond the workshop is over. If we teach them how to go about in their, peer coaching cohorts, and we send them off before we meet next, it does wonders. People pull each other up. People remind each other of the lessons learned, and give feedback in terms of, you're not applying this, you are applying this very well. Can you please teach me? I think that also works very well. Yes, Nupur.
I have a question, Shanti.
Yes, please.
Maybe you can help me with it. What, in your opinion, is the difference between an experiential element of a workshop and just participatory? Because many times I see people confuse the two. Just because something
Yeah,
has a
lovely.
participatory element to it, or a voting element to it, or a response element to it, I don't know if that is
That is
genuinely
participatory.
experiential.
So our session today is we are not experiencing anything, but it is
Mm,
participatory. So many of us are answering, questioning, engaging. It is an
mm,
engaging participatory session. The same thing if I had given you a workshop title and said, go in your breakout rooms and design the most interactive workshop that you can, and come back and tell us all the tools that you used, that might have made it experiential because you are doing it in the session.
yeah,
So in
because I many times
learning,
I see
uh,
facilitators confuse just getting everybody's voice in is not necessarily
no,
experiential.
it is
Yeah.
not. It is part. So when we say immersive, it is a combination of participation and experience,
True.
not the other way around.
True.
Yeah, wonderful. Any other thoughts, questions, anything that anybody would like to ask with regards to making sessions engaging and interactive? If not, I'm going to ask. Yes,
I have a
Urmila,
question.
please. Yeah,
So
Urmila and then Gaurav.
yeah. So is there any source in which you can get ideas? Usually my go-to is I'll Google or YouTube, but then sometimes we hit something which will spark an idea, sometimes not. But is there any ready-made source or a platform?
I have not come across any ready-made source. I have created my own, Urmila. I have a collection of activities, collection of videos, collection of stories, collection of PDFs, collection of links to HBR articles or websites that are informative, that I think at some point in time I will use in a workshop. It does eat into a lot of my disk space, but if you are somebody who is in the business of creating engaging content, you will need to do that. Can Google or ChatGPT enhance what you are trying to create? Absolutely, yes. An example, I was creating a workshop on mentorship. I asked ChatGPT to give me video clips for authoritative mentorship style or collaborative mentorship style, and it would give me some nice videos. And then I said, oh, you're giving me only Hollywood examples, I need Bollywood examples. So it gave me Bollywood examples. I had to go to YouTube, cut that clip, use it in my workshop, and it really worked well. But you still need to have that idea or source. Keep attending, listening, uh, collecting this at all points in time. I can absolutely let all of you know that if any time any one of you is creating a workshop and you need any ideas, tips, please ping in the group and I'll be very happy to share whatever is available with me. This is all free content. There is all you need to, if we meet, let you treat me with a coffee. I'm a chai person, treat me with a chai. Yes, Gaurav.
Yeah, Shanti, I was just wondering, you called about coaching as one of the tools, right?
Yes.
For this learning, but how can you actually involve experiential learning into coaching itself, which is more one-on-one, beyond
Yeah.
visualization, role play?
Yeah, one-on-one coaching is one form of coaching. Coaching can be team coaching can be group coaching can be peer coaching. Yeah, I will tell you where I've used each one of those in a leadership journey where there is an assessment and each leader has 4 or 5 skills that they need to work on. Yes, there are common themes are covered through workshops, but the individual needs we will need to engage in a one-on-one coaching, because what is need for you, if Asavri is another person in the same batch, it may not be her need, so we will have one-on-one coaching. Yeah. Group coaching is when people come together for a common need or a common theme. When we do a workshop on feedback and people come with the problems they've had with regards to applying whatever they've learned back at the workplace, and everybody comes with a problem statement into the group coaching session. It's a common set of problems. That's a group coaching session. Yeah. A team coaching session is typically done over a longish period of time. It is not a session. A team coaching intervention will include training, coaching, projects, workshops, individual coaching, lots of kinds of interventions and activities where, based on the sponsor's need, the team has to move from point A to point B. Depending on where and what point A and B are, we take them through that journey. It could be 6 months long, could be year long, could be year and a half long. Peer coaching is when there are large groups and the concepts covered are simple, but they need more practice. Then we form smaller cohorts. We teach them how to coach each other. We teach them how to ask questions. What does Socrative thinking mean? And we send them away to say, okay, now in your cohorts, at least meet thrice before the next workshop to practice what you've learned. Then they're coaching each other. Then the facilitator or the coach need not be a part of that. So it is for embedding the learning that the workshop or the shorter intervention has given them. Any form of coaching can be used for that.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Any other thoughts, questions?
Just a question. Do you know any resources, Shanti, where we can create our own simulations or things like that? If I mean, a lot goes into
Yes.
one big
Yes,
simulation.
in fact, just yesterday I was talking to a gentleman for the GWS Learning Guild. We are planning a session. This is a framework created on Zoho called as Do How. We are going to create an experiential session wherein L&D leaders can experience what the tool can do. And if that interests us to create simulations, we can reach out to them. They are very happy to give it away. I don't know what give it away means yet, but I would really explore what give it away means. But if you're talking about, can I create simulations with people and all? I am not aware. It does involve a lot of technology, combination of effort, uh, thinking behind it, planning behind it. And if you've got resources who can create the videos, stitch it up together, get the survey questions done, collate the results behind the scenes and present to you or the learner data in a way that makes sense to them, it is doable, but I'm not sure of any one tool that does it. If anybody here has experience with one such tool that does it, that will be really brilliant if you can share. Yeah, if not, I'll keep that in mind, Nupur. If something comes, I will revert and I will let you all know that this tool exists. Maybe we should put it up in the group and check, does anybody know of a
Val-
tool that can help us with simulations? Yes, Vaishnavi.
The question that Urmila asked, there is this liberating structures that IAF, International
Yeah,
Association of Facilitators, recommend,
yeah,
which has around 33 methods. We might know some of them might be new, some of them might have a different name. But there is this app
absolutely.
that can be downloaded and kept handy. So when you think, I really do not know what exactly needs to be done, you can quickly open this app. It is LISA, Liberating Structures app. Uh, so you can just go through
You
those
want to put it
33
in the chat,
methods.
Vaishnavi?
Sure, I'll do that. So there are some 33 practical methods to engage audiences and see if you can pick one of those depending on your topic, on your audience, depending on your learning objective.
Yeah. And
Yeah, we used to use the same book also. The book I have the book in my bookshelf, Liberating
Ha,
Structure.
right.
lovely, lovely. Lovely resources. I may also share some resources that has just activities. There is one 101 for trainers, something I bought, and a few other book that only have activities. Maybe I can add it along with the PDF when I share the combined wisdom from this group.
Sure, that
Absolutely.
would be
Thanks,
helpful.
Vaishnavi. Any other thoughts or questions? Did you find this session useful? I have a heart from Urmila. Thank you.
Very
Thanks,
useful.
Nupur. Thanks, Hina. Thank you, Ishita. I'm glad that this was helpful. We will close here. If there are no further questions, I'll think through what we might want to do in the upcoming month, and we will share in the guild uh, along with the theme and the open house date and all. We will come back to you shortly. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. If you are planning for a long weekend, enjoy your long weekend. Looking forward to seeing you all in the next open house. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Shanti.
much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.